What does it feel like to be in first place NRL fantasy? Welcome back, guys. I'm here to answer that question with the big dog himself. Got Temz here, number one overall on the ladder. How you feeling, man?
Yeah, it's a buzz, bro. It's good. Good feeling, you know. I'm not getting ahead of myself because it's a long year, obviously. But
Yeah, mate. Good
yeah,
year
it's,
for you,
it's
though. You got the Waz
the
jersey
best
on
place to
too.
be. Yeah,
You
that's
guys are
right. Up the
flying.
wires, up the
Yeah,
wires. But no,
mate,
it's the
great
best place
year.
to be, obviously, in the number one spot. So I'm cheering. I'm cheering.
Mate, stoked for you. Stoked for you. Well, I'm here to give you the official crowning of first third of the season champion in NRL fantasy. That's not a well-known title, but you've
No,
won that first chunk before the Origin bye rounds.
nice.
It's been a
Something
big run
official.
here too. You've been up the top there for a while.
Yeah, pumping away there, bro.
Yeah, man, that's red hot. Now, look, for today, we're going to talk about a few things, guys. So we're going to get into, RastaTemz. So we'll just call him Temz here. But Temz's start, how he went sort of through the first 8 weeks there, and then how he jumped into that first place spot. We'll talk about some of the best and worst moves as well so far, which is going to be a bit of a highlight tour for a lot of us as well, who made probably the same mistakes and failed to make the same wins that you did, Temz. And then
Yeah,
we'll go
plenty of
into, best moves, worst moves, captains, all that sort of thing, and talk about Origin and bye rounds going forward, and a bit of that plan there. So, you got three you here, Temz. How
Yeah.
did you start? Like, was it a straight into the top 10 first week sort of situation, or did it take some time?
No, yeah, very much wasn't. 1600 it was my first round score. And, I was pumped with that, though. I mean, that's not bad for a first round score. And I didn't trade, and then I dropped to just under 10,000 on round two. So yeah, that kind of got me. But then I made a couple of trades that week, and then round three I just shot up to 19th. So I made about 9,000 ranks in one round. So that was awesome. Yeah.
Bloody hell.
And then from that round, I've kind of stayed in the top 10 the whole year, really, except for one round in round 9. But I was up to third in round 4, and then second round 5, and then first round 6 was where I made the first thing.
Hey, that is so early. Round 3 into 19th, because I know we've been chatting on the Discord quite a bit, and you're obviously part of the private community there too. But 19th in round 3, that's a big jump, and to hold that spot through this period, you must be feeling pretty confident heading into Origin.
Yeah, I am actually. Yeah, just for my team. Yeah, at the moment, like a big part of that jump was not having Cleary and Ponga. Yep. I think was a massive part of how that jump happened. And so just thankful for that. I made that decision, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk us through that, because the Cleary anti-pod, right? That was a big decision at the time.
Yeah, it did. I wasn't confident with it, but I just saw I'll give it a shot, basically. And I think it was round 4 or 5. He got the 5 points, and people had captained him and stuff like that. Was pretty much what I was hoping for, something like that. Basically, sadly to say, but
best case scenario there, and your captain got 100 plus that week too. So.
Yeah, that's right. And also captaining half through the first 3 rounds, I think, was something that a lot of people didn't do. That, a lot of people had Haas and still didn't captain them and stuff like that. So I think I got off quite well doing that. I think that was where a lot of my success in the first rounds came from, So.
Yeah, that Haas over Cleary call is a big one. At the time, obviously now it feels like common sense, but if you cast your mind back, no one was really talking about that as a big option. Haas had the surgery in the preseason too.
Yeah, so that's right.
It's pretty wild, man.
And also, there's other players the same as Hudson Young. I didn't get Hudson Young, but if you had Hudson Young and you just captained him from the start, which is not something you think about doing, but if you just have these massive jumps, you're head above the rest type of thing. You know?
So pod central, mate. That's your push here.
Yeah.
It's all about the pods. All right. Right. I mean, I can see a couple of them in this team even right now. But let's sort of zoom back, right? So you're 19th place in round 3. When did you first crack into the top 10 there?
That was the next round. Round 4 is when I went to third. So.
Oh, mate, too easy. You just keep on rising.
Yeah, that's right. And then round 5 was second, and then round 6 was first. So, yeah.
I feel like that's so smooth, so linear. Like you just sort of went up, 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 up. Like, has
Almost like it's
anything
meant to
gone
be.
wrong at any point, or has it just been perfect, man?
Yeah, well, I mean, because when I went from second to first was actually when I bought Dewey and Walshin. So that's why I think, had I not done those 2 trades, which you can't really go back and change, obviously, but that's where I think my biggest downfall is this year is that one round. Even though I still went up 1 rank to first, I still had Dewey and Walsh on my team, floating around. Yeah. So, and I had a chance. What I did with the Dewey and Walsh trade was I actually. Should we want to talk? Was that I
Yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, what I did with the Dewey and Walsh trade was I was actually running Rinakama from the Cowboys, the wing fullback, because I wanted a wing fullback that was, an NPR because they play so late in all the rounds. So I picked him up, and he was just doing so good for me. Like, he was another reason why I was getting points from my wing fullbacks because I was just looping him every week.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah, and then but then I traded Dewey and Walsh for him and Crichton, I think round 5 or 6, and so I changed. I got rid of my NPR, and I which he was my savior for the first few rounds, and then and Crichton, and then I got in 2 players that just absolutely duffed it, So had that have been just even 1 trade, from Crichton to Hines or something like that, it would have saved me about 4 trades, But that's probably my biggest downfall in the year that's happened so far. But otherwise, I still went up a rank, so yeah.
That's an insane meta strategy, though. So just coming back to that. You've grabbed a guy who's an intentional red dot at wing fullback for the intention of running loopholes.
Only in the wings, though, because I knew the wings would be, yeah.
That's bold, though, man. Like, that's very bold because you're focused on cash generation. I'll throw something at you here, too. This season was the perfect season for that strategy because we've made so much money. But in previous years, I reckon you'd be feeling that. Like that lack of cash.
Yeah. I totally agree. I totally agree. And I actually did feel it. Like the round 5, there was a point where I was worried about my cash because there were teams that were like 400 or 500K above me. And they were like, there was like a few of them all in the top 10, So I was like, I've got to get this non-playing reserve playing now, like type of thing.
Yeah. Let's take a look at it, man. It's like, this is the roster here. Starting side looks good to me. This is the setup from last week, by the way, guys. It's looking much different for this week. But very strong across the board, built out. Backline's good. Forward pack's good. Obviously got to replace Egan there. Then on the bench here, you seem to have cleared up those challenges as well. So Smith, Hosking, Toya Tavanga, Yongi Savala, Cleary Katsonga. You can tell we talk a lot. Our teams are similar. Yours is just way better. But how are you feeling about it? Let's not talk about buys yet. Let's just talk about the roster in general. Yeah. Is there anything you love about your roster, or anything that you think is a bit of a gap in the roster right now?
What I like, what was a gap until about 2 weeks ago was the Munster and Pat thing. That was a big dark hole of like, shall I keep going with this?
Yeah.
And I ended up.
By the way, I get you. Like, that's the last 2 weeks has been nice, but before that, it was a struggle.
Yeah, and I guess that's one of the biggest things about this, like, is holding. Like, a lot of people are like, I've seen a lot of people selling players that are out this week, or and trading them to someone that's gonna be like helpful this week, but then like trading a round 13 player for a round 12 player, like player that's playing round 12, things like that are happening at the moment. But yeah, just like with Munster, I suppose him kicking up again, he was going to be a sell this week, Now that he's had those 2 runs, and if he backs up from Origin, he's pretty much like a super pod, isn't he? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
if he plays well. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I think we're forced into it because I'm in the same scenario as you, right? So I've got 12 before trades this week, which means I don't have to trade too hard. And I've got Dylan Egan sitting there, just like you do, who is gone for the season here. So Munster is pretty low on my sell list. You know, Egan's
Yeah.
ahead of him. Probably Rob Toyer ahead of him as well on your sell list there too. But I think you got the luxury here with 13 players for this week. You can wait and see on a guy like Rob Toyer. Is that your rationale there? You're going to wait and see and sort of make a prediction on whether he keeps his origin spot?
What's that for Robert Sawyer?
Yeah, man.
At this stage, I like everything in me wants to keep him, but I just don't think it's smart. Like he doesn't play enough rounds in the next few rounds if he keeps his spot.
Yeah.
Billy, I mean, he's obviously liked by the Origin selectors, you know, for him to take the spot over how many other centers. So, I mean, for him to be dropped is hard for me to like. It'd have to go really bad for him to be dropped for me anyway. But that's just how I feel.
Unless they lose that game, you know, you get Murray Talangi, Cobbo back as well.
Yeah.
I think it's a possibility, but yeah, my view on this is I'm going to wait this week and decide next week.
Yeah.
I don't really trade. I think you're in the same spot there. In
Yeah.
terms of your past moves, right? You hinted at this a bit. Obviously, you're very humble, so you came in with the negative there. You went Dewey and Walsh, but you got to tell us about all the victory laps and all the wins here. So, what were some of your best moves? You know, your best buys. Are there any players that you got on a bit earlier than everyone else, or you know, what have you got to brag about?
Well, I mean, like in the recent, I mean, I got on Jazz about 3 weeks ago. I traded him out for someone to get Toya's 98 score, 98 point score or whatever it was. So, I mean, that was kind of a good trade if it works out all right this week. I mean, that's a move that I'm quite happy with.
60 plus.
He got a 50, he got a 50 last week, and he's already jumped up about a few hundred K. So, yeah, that wasn't a bad little move. Holding Katong is another one. Like a lot of people just got rid of him at one stage. I think holding him has been quite good for me. You know, he scored back-to-back 50s, and he doesn't look like he's going to slow down too much. Like he might go down a little bit, but you know, so holding him was quite good. You know, I might not even sell him in their buy round at this stage. Like he might be someone I hold for the rest of the year at this stage, which is something I never thought would happen. But yeah, holding Horsburgh, you know, he's playing again this week, and he could be another hold for the rest of the year. Like I think, you know, holding players is just as good as buying players sometimes, you know, and really running them into the ground, which is what I do sometimes. Get that last cent out of them.
I'm picking that up. I'm picking it up from you. You've got your own philosophies, your own approaches. You know, that loophole, for example, the anti-pod Cleary. You know, if you buy a player, I'm getting the sense that you trust your own analysis more than the scores that you're seeing week to week.
And well, that's kind of where I'm at. You're exactly right. Yeah, that's kind of 100%, bro. And that's kind of where I'm at this week with not trading. Like, I haven't got the most elite team, but I'm fielding a team. And then I'm kind of thinking, like, where I'm going to make my jump more is by saving trades this week and pushing it more into next week and the rest of the year, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I can field it.
Tempting just to burn them all. Like,
yeah, I know. I could do it.
And Matt Burton's there and, like, guys like that.
Yeah, Tedesco, like, I mean, I'm a bit cold on Tedesco this week, but I think he's going to be quite beneficial for the whole year. I don't know how the Roosters will personally go this week. Like, but that's just what I'm thinking. Yeah, just what I think.
Yeah, mate, it's a good spot to be in. But I'm kind of with you there. I think it's an interesting play. And then captaincy. I'm not going to make you answer who your captain is this week. I want you to keep that secret for me. So I'd love to hear from you, maybe 3 players who you think are decent captain options for this round and sort of how you think about it.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think the 2 Dolphins, so Farnworth and Katoa, I think they can really score this week. I think the safer ones is Katoa in my head. Like, this is what I believe. I think Farnworth will go way higher. Like, But I think, if for Farnworth to go good, Katoa has to go moderately good too. So I don't know. I have them both quite equal, but one safer and one higher upside. And I just like the later games. So Aaron Clark's probably the other one that I'm thinking. Like, that's another thing that really factors into my captaincy, and there's no real method or madness behind it. It's just the later games. I like the rank rise. And
That's classic.
yeah, bro. But yeah, I think Aaron Clark's going to have a lot of work to do in the middle. And I don't think he's going to score under 55. So yeah, I don't mind that shout. And if
He's safe as houses, by the way, Clark.
Yeah,
I completely agree with you there. I think the Wires might struggle in this matchup just without their starting front rowers, but Clark will have to play big minutes. I just think maybe some of those attacking stats might elude him a bit. For Aaron Clark there, and you being a Wires fan, right? Obviously in Australia for 12 years, still haven't switched to an Aussie team, but I won't hold you that against you. Be a Wires fan though. Do you think Aaron Clark, mate, is he the signing of the year, or how close is he to that?
For the Warriors, for 100%.
For anyone.
Wait, for the whole thing? For the whole thing? Yeah, I think Jazz is up there too.
Lomax has been good.
Yeah, Lomax. Yeah, no, Lomax has been he's unstoppable. That kid. Yeah. So it's hard for me to say the buy of the year, but he's definitely the buy of the buy for the Warriors, like for a long time. I think. Yeah.
Mate, he's been unbelievable because you guys lost Tohu Harris this year, right? And
yeah,
a big loss. And Aaron Clark has just sort of come in and replicated that tenacity and that intensity that Tohu had last year. Like different kind of player, but has kind of helped you guys play the whole.
It's kind of weird that like Barnett was working harder when Tohu was there, and now Aaron Clark
like limited minutes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's doing less. So yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Now let's look at some of these teams here because obviously you're in number one there. We can scroll up and see me in 976. So lowly, pathetic ranking there compared to all you guys up the top. I'm just going to move myself out of it. But top 10 here. We'll start with these guys. Are there any of these guys that you've chatted to or any of them that you're eyeing off, or what are your thoughts here?
So fantasy-wise, I haven't talked to any of these guys personally. I know them only through their scores.
That's the way.
Yeah. But I do keep a good eye on it, and there's some few killers out there on the hunt for me at the moment. Brad Arthur's he's someone that we've been fighting over the top with for the last couple of rounds. So,
oh yeah, pretty similar side to yours in some ways, but then Campbell difference. Nafahu White, bad luck there. So he's gone Fogarty over your Katoa. He's got Teddy. Oh, Karaz as well. He's had some bad luck.
Yeah, he's someone I'm glad I didn't pick up.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was an origin risk, but at the end of the day, it was just injury, which is crazy. This is a pretty solid roster. Hamish Stewart there as well. That's a nice one. Who else there? Because I know you mentioned before you were chatting to 74 MOB on a different game.
Yeah. I was playing bloody Xbox. And the bro was like, "Oh, I'm in second here, mate. I'm right behind you. Look out!" I was like, "Mate, roger that, bro. Well, you beat me in the Xbox game first."
Yeah, did he beat you or did you win?
Then we were in the same team. We lost.
Oh, that's concerning. That could be Again, another one, Nafahu White. I think White's probably a hold, but it's a tough one to swallow. Yeah, Jacob Karaz. He's had a couple of issues as well.
Yeah.
He's got Aitken already. That's a nice one. Yeah, okay. These are some pretty good sides. I'll throw into, I know, obviously, Jordan, Spanner in the Works, Jay-Z. He came fourth, I think it was, last year and won himself about $4,000 of KFC vouchers. So we just call him the KFC.
I'm all about that.
Yeah. But yeah, he's in a good spot again here. So for Jay-Z, he's definitely one to watch. Good fantasy coach. Yeah, already on Aitken there. Another Munster owner too. It's interesting that Munster wasn't that good this year, but in a lot of the top teams, he's there. Like, I think it kind of speaks to the mentality of a lot of you top coaches. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a tricky one, and I think the thing that kept me holding Munster was just the Storm in general. Like they were just not playing stormy. Like they
Yeah. Yeah.
weren't. And then it wasn't the last 3 or 4 weeks. They've kind of just gone back to playing properly. But I don't know. There was having Jerome Hughes in the team. Like you watch them. It's like someone has to have full control of the team at some stage. And like when the other
Yeah.
ones, and sometimes Munster can start being that ball runner right from the start, or otherwise he won't even pick it up till the second half, and,
Yeah.
and I don't know, how to pick it sometimes.
Yeah, we've seen 4 consecutive weeks now of 100 meters plus running the ball for Munster
Yeah.
after starting the year with, I think it was 6 straight under 100-meter games. So that's been the
Yeah.
turnaround there. That's a big
Yes,
indicator.
100-meter rule. Yeah.
Yep. 100-meter rule, exactly. I'll just jump into the Discord here too, because I just want to shout out a few guys that we do have in the private group. So obviously you're there in number 1, but Sammy Sony in 28th spot. We've got Starboy in 34th. Turtles is in 47th. Mitch in 55th. Big Mac in 61st. Look, I won't go through everyone. Casual Ballers, though, he's a legend as well in 178th there. Then me. Again, right down here, I'm not even in the top 10 of our private group. But we've got a lot of people up the top there. So look, for people who haven't jumped on the Discord, obviously a lot of the Discord is free, guys, but there is that private section as well that you can jump into. Has it been, I'll put you on the spot here, but has it been helpful to you to have that community? Has it been enjoyable to have a bunch of other fantasy coaches around?
Oh, bro, it's awesome, eh? Like before this, I was kind of just taking all the L's, on the chest. Then you see all the boys as well, and they go, "Oh, I had this and that, and I had this guy." It's like, yeah, sweet as. Feel a little bit better about myself, but yeah. But it's the same thing with the wins too. When the boys get like, they captain someone's 100 gets 100 points. It's like, yeah, let's go.
I feel like everyone's more keen to brag about their L's though. Like if someone had something really
100%.
bad, they're putting that up there. Whereas if they get a winner, they're kind of quiet about it. Like everyone's a bit
100%.
humble.
I've gone quiet since I got the one spot.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I mean, it's a long time to go. It's like another 4 months. So yeah, it's pretty close competition too. How are you feeling though? Like, so obviously coming into the bye period, you're feeling pretty confident. Is your plan here? Because obviously you want to try and save some trades this week potentially. I know you're eyeing off a couple of pods as well. We won't go into who they are. Keep your secrets here. But are you thinking that you're going to establish a bit of trying to establish a bit of a lead there and keep doing different things, or you're going to try and play it safe? Or what's the mentality here?
I think I've got to pull back the reins a little bit. I've traded quite heavy, and I've got to find ways to kind of limit my trades and get some behind me again. I think I'm 12 trades at the moment. And like a lot of this round 12, and my trades before round 12 have been to set up to not trade this round. And so if I don't trade this round, I'm kind of still going with my plan. And that means that I can trade heavy next week and get players that are more beneficial for the long run home. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I kind of, at this stage, don't want to trade at all if I can get past and take those points with kind of lesser players, like playing my Savalas and things like that, unfortunately. But I think that's what I have to do instead of getting those extra, making a trade and getting an extra 30 points here and there, So.
Yeah. Okay. So trying to play it a little bit safer.
Trying to. It's hard.
You're an unhinged fantasy coach, bro, so it's not going to be easy.
Yeah. No, that's right.
you got the devil on your shoulder here saying, use all 3 trades again. Like, go on.
Yeah, pretty much. That's me every week. Yeah.
Mate, sometimes, look, you listen to those voices, they got you to the first place, so not a bad play. But look, thanks for jumping on today. It's been awesome to have a chat with you.
You're welcome, bro.
Anyone who does want to chat to Temz as well, by the way, just jump into the Discord. You can give him a tag. I'm volunteering you for something here, by the way. Shoot him a tag, and he'll give you some unhinged fantasy advice that could get you to first place, or could cause you to have less.
Give us something to cry about together.
Yeah, it could go both ways. Look, cheers for jumping on, man. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, bro. Thank you for all your information and all that hard effort and stuff, bro. I appreciate the community. Thank you very much.
Man, I love it. Happy to help. All right, see you, everyone.
Peace, bro.